China has taken over the premises of the U.S. Consulate in the southwestern city of Chengdu. It ordered the diplomatic mission there to close in response to the United States closing the Chinese consulate in Houston, Texas last week. The Americans were given 72 hours to vacate the Chengdu office. A spokesman for China's foreign ministry said the closure was just and necessary. The U.S. State Department says it's disappointed by the decision. Paul Hawkins reports.
A sign of the times. The American consulate in Chengdu. It's been in China's 7th largest city for 35 years, employing 200 people, including 150 locally hired staff. But not anymore. Forced to close by China after the US forced China to close its consulate in Houston on Friday. The US accusing China of stealing intellectual property. Another sign of the rock-bottom relationship between the US and China over a number of issues, including the coronavirus pandemic.
It comes from China.
China's new Hong Kong security law.
Today I also signed an executive order ending US preferential treatment for Hong Kong.
The use of Chinese technology in the West.
We convinced many countries, and I did this myself for the most part, not to use Huawei.
And originally, trade, although a deal was done in January.
Together we are righting the wrongs of the past and delivering a future of economic justice and security.
Since then, the relationship has gone into reverse, with the latest allegations including espionage. Paul Hawkins, BBC News.
The closure of the consulate in Chengdu leaves America with 4 consulates in mainland China and the embassy in Beijing. Our correspondent there, Stephen McDonald, tells us what he thinks might happen next.
I don't think it's the end of it by a long shot, and the Chinese government doesn't seem to think so either. We've just come from the foreign ministry here in Beijing, where the foreign ministry spokesman has said that really all of these sort of latest fights, especially over the closure of the consulates, is coming from the US side. And they've called on Washington to try and do something to normalise relations between the two. They've said that Washington has overhyped these allegations of spying, because that's one of the reasons the State Department has given for closing this Houston consulate, saying it basically was a base for Chinese spying in the United States. However, at the press briefing today, a lot of time went into discussing whether or not it's right to enter one of these buildings after they've been vacated. What happened on Friday was that after the Chinese diplomats left the Houston consulate, they locked it up. Now, US officers broke in then to the former Chinese consulate. Now, according to the Chinese government, this is a breach of the Vienna Convention. On the other hand, this morning, when the US diplomats left Chengdu, they left the door wide open and Chinese officials marched in the front door.
That's our correspondent Stephen McDonald reporting there.